Round one of the 2025 NHL Draft is in the books. Sharks walked away with the best forward and goalie in the draft class.
You're Locked On Sharks, your daily podcast on the San Jose Sharks, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, welcome to Locked On Sharks, the premier hockey podcast covering your favorite team in the Bay Area. My name is JD Young, caretaker at the Reef, also the co-host of Locked On NHL. I want to thank you for making Locked On Sharks your first listen. Proudly part of the Locked On Network. We cover your team every day. And if you want to be an everydayer, all you have to do is just follow along wherever you get podcasts, or you can watch on YouTube as well. And tonight, we discuss the first round of the NHL Draft as the Sharks made their two picks, Joshua Ravensbergen and Michael Misa. We'll get to know both these players a little bit more. And then, of course, talk about who the Sharks should pick at 33, since they have picked number one in the second round. So before we get to all that, I do want to let you guys know today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off your first purchase. So round one done. Sharks, never a doubt, pick Michael Misa with the second overall pick. A lot of consternation, a lot of worry, right, that the Sharks were going to pick Anton Frundell, which we talked about earlier this morning. If they pick Frundell, you could see the path to why they'd pick Frundell. There was, the campaign of Blackhawks fans, which 100% super funny, very creative Blackhawks fans disguising themselves as Sharks fans, trying to get the Frundell to San Jose. Hilarious. I genuinely think it was really funny, very A+ creativity anyway. But the Sharks, they picked the best forward in the draft in Michael Misa, right? And now you are setting yourself up for a potential 1-2 combination of Celebrini and Smith, or Celebrini and Misa, with Will Smith most likely moving back to the wing, especially with Misa's details in his game and his ability to play a full 200 for a game. And just as we've talked about multiple times, but just the flexibility it gives you in your roster with having a special talent like Michael Misa in the lineup. So we're going to quickly, just in case maybe people haven't been following along, they're checking out. So we're just going to kind of quickly discuss Misa and his game and stuff like that. And we'll talk about more and, maybe a little bit on his, maybe in San Jose sooner than we thought. But let's get caught up on Misa. So Michael Misa, 6'1", 182-pound left-handed center, playing with Saginaw in the OHL, the second overall pick in this year's draft. Played 65 games in the regular season, has 62 goals. It still makes me laugh. I know how many goals he has, and it still makes me laugh. 72 assists, 134 points total, with 284 shots on goal. Misa led the entire CHL in scoring, just racked up awards this year with his play, was the MVP, or most points of the year, was the MVP of the OHL this season. First team All-Star. He won a Memorial Cup last season, won as the CHL first team All-Star this year. He's a guy who has racked up a lot of accolades, right? Former exceptional status player, which means he could start playing at a younger age. He's already has 3 full seasons in the OHL, which is nice because even if he goes back to the OHL next year, which I don't expect, he would only need 1 more year. He would not have to worry about the CHL NHL agreement because of his age, because he would have racked up 4 full seasons because of his exceptional status. But we'll discuss that a little bit more. What do the scouts think about Michael Misa? Misa is a kind of the elevator pitch, dynamic play driving, dual threat scoring center with exceptional details, contact skills, and machine-like motor. One of the most well-rounded forwards to come out of the OHL in years, known for his engine, his vision, kind of a chess master, just the way he thinks the game, is the tools and the grade for him is high end. Everybody, he was usually second on most people's kind of draft boards behind Matthew Schaefer. I know our good friend Tony Ferrari had him number one, but you're getting a extremely exceptional player here. And I mean, reading Elite Prospects profile, this season we saw Macklin Celebrini step into the NHL and immediately impose his will over shifts. The same could happen with Michael Misa, the most detail-driven and complete player in the draft. True all-arounder, combining pace, shutdown ability, and a vast repertoire of skills. Misa finished as a top point getter, not only in the draft class, but across all major hockey leagues. They talk about his shot rates are high-end, but more so his release, his talent for anticipating and attacking gaps, fueling his goal-scoring streak this season. He is there are polls among elite prospects, have the best forward, the best transition forward, the best offensive forward, the best transition forward, the best two-way forward, the highest floor, third best motor, fourth best straight line skater, fourth best vision, fourth highest ceiling, and fifth best shot. So Misa, excellent player. Listening to his availability today, if you want to check it out, it's on YouTube. I've uploaded both him and Ravensbergen's availabilities. He spoke about how he wants to play in the NHL next year. And, I think, Mike Greer we know Mike Greer is going to give him every opportunity to do so. Right. Just like Sam Dickinson, right. He, like all these young players, he's going to give them an opportunity to play in the NHL next year. We have all summer to discuss it, but if he does, I wouldn't be surprised if maybe he's on the Will Smith path to success, where they kind of maybe monitor and especially the first half of the season, maybe not back-to-backs. And I know in the OHL you play a lot of back-to-backs and you play a much more kind of intensive schedule with, just the pace and how many games in such a short time with a lot of back-to-backs and stuff. But we know the OHL and the NHL are just way different animals. So, but Misa is 100% a home run pick, right? And especially with Macklin Celebrini and what you have in Celebrini, right? And how special a player we think Celebrini is going to be. Getting basically a knockoff Celebrini to be your second line center, pretty great to me. Pretty great. I think, especially as a solid size. I know he's, not like 6'4", 200 pounds, 220 pounds or anything like that, but he's got a solid frame. And I think as he continues to build muscle and stuff like that, then you see it like William Eklund. I ran into Eklund today, and he looks like you could tell Eklund no longer the scrawny little kid that we saw when he was drafted at 18. Misa's got a good frame, and he'll be able to add some size and muscle to him. So, but I think though with Misa, the potential playing in the NHL, he was pretty that's the goal. And if he doesn't make the NHL, which it'll be interesting to see how the Sharks handle this, right? Because of the new rule of where you can basically, right, you if you're in the OHL or if you're in the CHL, and as long as you haven't signed your ELC, you can go play in the NCAA. Once you put that pen to paper, right, and sign that ELC, you no longer have that option. And we know with the new, with the new CBA, we'll be able to have these exceptional players, who will be able to play in the AHL at a younger age. But there's nothing left for Misa to accomplish in the OHL, right? Literally leaving on as one of the most decorated players, this season. Do the Sharks, again, how did they handle this, right? Because like you let him stick around camp as long as possible and basically like have a college picked out, and then if he doesn't make the team, he goes and plays college hockey for a year, and then he signs his ELC when that season's over. And of course, he'll burn his first year of his ELC. But either way, if he's playing in college hockey or if he's playing in the NHL, like he'll burn like that. This first year is going to be taken care of at some point. But or do you just kind of suck it up and let him play this year? So it's gonna be interesting what they do there. But we're going to talk about Joshua Ravensbergen here in just a second. Get to know the new goalie as the Sharks, again, best forward in the class, best goalie in the class. So we'll get to Ravensberger. A bit of a surprise pick, but a welcome one here in just 1 second. Have you decided at the last minute that you want to head to a ball game with friends or family? Maybe it's game day. You suddenly realize you need to be in the stands. That's exactly where Game Time comes in. It's the easiest way to grab last minute tickets without the stress. With the money you save on tickets, you can splurge on food, drinks, merch, or even invite a bigger group to come with you. Game Time makes it possible. Game Time makes buying tickets fast and simple. Prices on the app actually drop the closer you get to first pitch. They've got incredible last minute deals, clear sea views, and a lowest price guarantee that takes the worry out of buying. Game Time has last minute tickets and zone deals for big matchups, like 10% off exclusive zone deals for FIFA Club World Cup matchups. So if you want to go catch some soccer, they got you covered there. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONNHL, LOCKEDON. NHL for $20 off. Download the Game Time app. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. All right. Of course, want to thank you for making Locked On Sharks your first, second. I don't know how many listens we're at right now per day. Plenty of great content as we keep pumping it out. Make sure you follow along. Of course, watch on YouTube. Listen wherever you get podcasts, because as soon as the draft is done, which we are in LA for, we got free agency next week, guys. So we'll get you geared up, get you covered for that. So make sure you, again, follow along wherever you get podcasts, and you can watch on YouTube as well. With the 30th pick, the Sharks made a bit of a surprise. To be honest, I thought a bit of a surprise selection with Joshua Ravensbergen, the goalie out of Prince George. So I thought that they were going, honestly, I thought they were going to go defenseman there. But my guess and my thinking with Mike Greer is he has some players that he liked on the board, especially maybe at defense, that he felt could be there at pick 33, which we'll talk about those guys here in a little bit. But so Joshua Ravensberger, many kind of expected or has him pegged as the top goalie in the class. Second goalie taken. Bit of a surprise by what the Blue Jackets did, but let's get to know Ravensbergen a little bit here, since we really talk much on goalies this year in the draft. So Ravensbergen, 6'5", 192-pound goalie playing with the Prince George Cougars in the WHL. Right-handed catcher, so that is Askarov and Ravensbergen, both righties there. He played 51 games in the WHL this year. 3.00 goals against average, save percentage 901, 33 wins and 0 shutouts. You have to don't get hung up on the numbers. Again, not the sexiest of numbers there, right? But again, the dude played 51 games this year for Prince George. They play 72 in the WHL, and he played 51 games this year. So that is a absolute monster amount of games that this poor guy had to play in. So again, I know the not the prettiest, save percentage and stuff like that. But we're looking at we're looking at the other traits. Also checking, is it 72 or is it 60? 68, my bad, even more. So he played 68 games. They have 68 games. He played 51 of them. That's an obnoxious amount of starts there. So with Ravensbergen, looking at kind of what his elite prospects says here. So his elevator pitch, big, composed, confident goalie who uses all of his tools effectively. Elite puck tracker that is able to come up with big saves. Shades of Ben Bishop. Out of, like his skating transitions are all above average. Tracking is very good as well. Depth, very like how, knowing where to be in his crease. Very high as well there. Reading what they wrote about him, by far the crown jewel of the goalie class for this draft. Joshua Ravensbergen is one of the only goalies in this draft that feels like a lock to play NHL games. An opposing 6'5" goalie who moves well, has elite play reading. Ravensbergen doesn't have to look flashy because he's always in the right position. It's that technicality. He challenges shooters appropriately, which can lead to situations where he simply engulfs the entire net because of his size. Fun fact on the sizing, he's very much in the like goalie size doesn't matter. And he points like guys like Dustin Wolf and stuff like that when asked about his size. Score one for Liz right there. Ravensbergen is a workhorse for the Prince George Cougars has a 901 save percentage. Is even more impressive when you look at the typical quality he faced on a nightly basis. Does a really nice job catching pucks, not trapping them, and snapping the glove close to control potential rebounds. Also, controls rebound placement well with his blocker, angling shots up and out of play rather frequently. Concern is the 5-hole, which is reflective of his stance, where his stick hovers above the ice to match his large frame. Is something larger goalies and NHL goalies have adapted to. If shooters can shoot quickly between his feet, there's a hole to aim at. I've also, talking to our good friend Chris Peters, talked a little bit about his hips there, but those are things I think that you can fix, right? And especially when you have Thomas Spears, who renowned goalie coach, right? And every goalie who's been in the Sharks organization, no matter how short of a time, praises the work he does. So just think now you have this type of mold to work with if you're Thomas Spears, right? 6'5", athletic, technically sound goalie who can track very well. And you're getting him now. If you're Thomas Spears, like, you should be excited as a Sharks fan of what the potential is for him. And again, like with these goalies, they do like don't expect him to be like a, you're going to be in the like in the NHL like right now type of thing, right? This is at least another year at Prince George. You wonder if maybe he goes and spends some time at a couple of seasons at college where he can kind of be the guy. You're going to spend some time in the AHL. This is like a 3 to 4 year, type of investment, right? And I know some people are like, well, you have Askarov. Okay. I think for the Sharks, again, like I just mentioned, that's 4 years before I think you're even starting to see any sort of like, okay, we might have, he might be ready for the NHL at this point here. And even when he comes in, right, it's probably going to be a year or two before you are, before he's kind of the guy for you. So you're looking at 5 or 6 years before you have to kind of, before he's, I'd say, ready to kind of take the throne. 5 or 6 years is a long time in the NHL, right? Martin Jones played great for 3 years and then all of a sudden turned into pumpkin. Not that I'm saying Askarov is going to happen to Askarov, but I think again you're adding another potential piece for you, right? And if Askarov is great, cool. Now you have 2 great goalies. And if you have to make a decision, then you have to make a decision at some point. But I'm very much in the camp of just take a goalie every year. Like I said, a little bit shocked, not shocked, a little surprised that they went Ravensbergen this at 30. But when you think about it, right, and how long that these guys do take to draft and develop, and you kind of see the fruit of your labor, I'm perfectly fine with it. And you got the best goalie in the class. So yeah, and I think Askey's gonna be awesome. And if Ravensbergen turns out to be awesome, cool. You have two awesome goalies. Last time I checked, you need more than one goalie. So, and that's a bridge we will cross way, 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 way down the line. Like if you have a potential Saros Askarov situation potentially brewing in San Jose, that's something we don't have to worry about right now. So we will, though, continue kind of some draft coverage here by looking at who's available at pick 33, as the Sharks have the first pick in the draft tomorrow morning. So we'll look at those guys here in just 1 second. Ever wish managing your money felt easier with Monarch Money? It can feel easier. Whether you're growing your savings or planning a big purchase, Monarch puts you in the driver's seat. It's like having your own personal CFO, giving you full visibility and control over your finances. Monarch Money is more than a budgeting app. It's a complete financial command center. Track all your accounts, investments, and spending in one place. So in addition to managing your money, you're also building wealth. The great thing about it is if you and your partner, maybe you guys have separate accounts and then a joint account, you guys can manage both those together. So where you're still working on your separate things, but that you're also working towards your long-term goals together, makes it super easy. So take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONNHL at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. That's monarchmoney.com, code LOCKEDONNHL for half off your first year. All right, before we finish up here in LA, I know the light is not super great right now. We're doing the best we can. Thank you for making Locked On Sharks your first listen. For your second listen, check out the Locked On NHL podcast. There's no off season in the NHL, right? There's always stuff happening. We got you covered, bringing daily league-wide stories that matter most with local coverage you love from Locked On. Find Locked On NHL on YouTube or wherever you listen to podcast. All right, 2 down. Now what? Because the Sharks, they still have multiple picks, including 2 second-round picks in this year's draft, including the first pick of the second round. So who's kind of the best available? I guess is the best way to put it here. So just as a reminder, here is the picks that the Sharks have left. They have pick 33, which is their pick. They also do have pick 53, which is the one that they got from the Fabian Zetterlund trade. They do have a third round pick, which from Ottawa, which is going to be pick 95. And then in the fourth round, where they have pick 115, which got bounced around. And then they also have pick 124 from that was part of the Cody Ceci trade, which actually went from Winnipeg to San Jose to Dallas to San Jose, which was super fun there. Fifth round picks. I'm pulling up the tracker right now. They have one, so they pick 150 from Colorado. I think that's the Cagliano. I don't know. It's somebody like that. So where they got that one. Then they have the nothing in the 6th round, right? And then they have in the 7th round, they have the Devils pick, which would be pick 210. So that's what they have left as of right now. Best players available. Number one, I think we all know Blake Fiddler, who I know a lot of Sharks fans were hoping would fall to San Jose at number 30. He fell to San Jose at number 30, and they just went in a different direction. Fiddler is 6'4", 209-pound right-handed defenseman playing with the Edmonton Oil Kings. Like big boy, he physical player. Like he is needs some help with his skating, but competes hard. Like he's definitely a Mike Greer type of player. And if you added him to go with Sam Dickinson, like that's a nice potential pairing right there. That's some mobile blue line beef right there. So Malcolm Spence is another guy to potentially look at here. 6'2", 210 left winger playing with the Erie Otters. He's struggled a little bit this season, but kind of a nice middle of the lineup type of player. Works super hard. He battles like could be and scores greasy goals. I think he's a potential, someone to look at right there. Milton Gastrin, who I think also another kind of Mike Greer, good size player. He's 6'1", 185 pounds. He's a two-way kind of third center type of player there as well. Jacob Wozniak, 6'2", 190 pounds, playing over in Luleå in Sweden. He can skate, like he's got some offensive skills, needs some more polishing there. Shane Van Segi, 6'2", 216 pound, playing at Michigan State. He is a compete defensive, solid defensively heavy type of winger. Not maybe the highest offensive upside there, but if you want a guy who come in and do some dirty work for you, especially kind of as like a third line type of role, I think I could definitely see that as a potential there. Not a lot of like defensemen here. I think in this range, maybe Simon Wang, who's a 6'6" Bayesian-born player who's playing over in Ontario, like super raw player, like insanely raw, but you can't teach size. And there is definitely like a runway for him as someone who has not played a ton of hockey. I think there's a definite runway for him. Kerben Limatov, who we talked about in this podcast too, 6'4", 190 pounds player, left-handed defenseman, is a good skater. He's, I think a solid defensively, and kind of plays a heavy game as well, but like not going to be like a big offensive guy. But if you're looking for a good defenseman there, so there's still a ton of players I think to really like at this pick. So I still think the Sharks do, like, for me it's Fiddler. Like if the Sharks walk away, if you told me the Sharks walk away with Misa, Ravensbergen, and Blake Fiddler is your top three picks, like I don't care. I basically don't care what else you do with this draft. I feel like that's a massive win right there for San Jose. So yeah, we'll see what the Sharks do here at 33. I don't know why, just a gut feeling Fiddler is the pick. It could be me projecting, but he does feel like a Mike Greer player. I do though. I do wonder about maybe the skating a little bit, because we know Mike Greer does like guys who are mobile and can skate, but I think in this range for Fiddler, who was kind of projected to be like a early to mid 20s pick, I think the value is just too good for San Jose to not pick him, but you never know what they do. I mean, they got Chernyshov last year at 33, and we feel like we stole one there. So maybe the Sharks can steal another one here with potentially Blake Fiddler or whoever they get with 33. So we'll be back on Friday, or we'll be back Saturday afternoon after the draft is over. We'll get to know all the newest San Jose Sharks players. If whoever's still in the drafts, like, we will have their availability, posting those on YouTube, so you can hear from the newest draft prospects. So plenty of great stuff following along, still coming this weekend. Then we turn our attention to free agency. So yeah, make sure you follow along wherever you get podcasts, and of course, you can watch on YouTube as well. Follow the show on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Locked On Sharks. Follow me on Twitter and Blue Sky at My Fry Hole. Till tomorrow. Bye, friends.